I'll just sit here and stare blankly at the camera. Just kidding. Anybody got kids out there? Anybody have tears at dinner time trying to get them to finish their vegetables? Hopefully this video is gonna help you. I've got a few quick tips to help make dinner time, well, I don't know if it'll make it easier first, but the overall point is to make our kids healthier, right? So hopefully these tips will help you be able to get more veggies in the kids with less tears and less stress on you. So I'm excited to talk today. When I started 3 years ago, the whole reason I started was because I looked over at my daughter and I was like, oh my God, she's made of chicken nuggets and fries. And I was like, I can't have that. And I didn't know how to eat healthy, so that was sort of a challenge in itself, learning not only for me to eat healthy, but getting my kiddo to eat healthy. And my daughter was 3, just about 3 when we started, so yes, it's a little easier with younger kiddos, but hopefully these tips help you no matter what age your kids are. It was really hard at first because she was very against green vegetables. Like literally, if it wasn't chicken nuggets and fries, she was like, no, maybe pizza on a good day, but you better pick off all the vegetables. So if you can relate, hopefully these tips help you. So how many of you guys have kids out there? Anybody? Anybody? Me, type a little me in the box. Tell me your kiddo's age. I see my friend Kaylee. I know she's got kiddos. She's got 4 beautiful babies. And I love seeing them. So hopefully these tips help her, because I can imagine with 4 kiddos at home, dinner time can be crazy sometimes. So my first tip for you guys, I don't want to keep you long, and I know my videos can get long. So my first tip, I'm going to jump right into it, is that you got to make it fun. You have to make it fun for kids. Everything is about fun for them. We know that, whether it's school or learning or anything like that, it's gotta be fun. So let them pick out their favorite veggie in the produce aisle. Let them help you make dinner. Make it a game. Whoever finishes their vegetable first gets to do something fun. What can you do to make it fun for kids? Get them involved. That's a lot of it. A lot of times, kids don't have a lot of control over their life. I mean, we tell them when to wake up, where to go, what they're doing, when they're doing it, but letting them get involved, it makes it kind of seem like them eating the vegetables was their idea. So sometimes they're like, no, I'm not gonna eat it. Why? Because I can. Because they know you can't force feed them. They know that you're not gonna like hold open their jaws and shove it down their throat. They know if they whine and kick and scream enough, they're gonna get out of it. So one of the best ways is just simply making it fun for them. And this works great if you have older kids. Like, let them pick and choose one of the vegetables to make, not only to pick out at the grocery store, but if you've got older kids, let them help you make it. Let them help you cook it. Put some responsibility on them. My second tip is keep it positive. So often I hear parents, they're like, yeah, my kid would never eat that. And I'm like, well, with that attitude, no, I probably wouldn't either. Why? Because I know you're not going to make me. The other thing is when you go into it with kind of a like, well, I don't eat vegetables. Well, your kids aren't going to eat vegetables. So keep it positive. Make it fun and keep it positive. Make it something to where you're like, oh, we're going to try this beautiful colored vegetable, whatever color it is. Let's say it's green beans. They're going to be, oh, it's green. Green like what? Talk about the colors. But just keep it a positive experience. Don't assume that your children aren't going to like something. If they've never tried it or they've only tried it once, don't go into it just assuming, because they know, they feel that vibe. They can read it all over your face and they're like, oh, sweet. Here's my chance. I don't have to eat this because mom already knows I'm not going to like it. She's going to let me off the hook. But just make it to where you're making it positive. Don't make it something to where it's like, oh, well, here's your vegetables, and I know you're not going to eat it, but you're not getting up from this table till you eat it. That being said, you have to be the example too. If you don't eat vegetables, you can't expect your kids to eat vegetables. The number one rule of parenting is what? They don't do what we say, they do what we do. They live by example, and we lead by example. So as a parent, you have to lead by example and eat your vegetables. When your kids see you eating vegetables, when your kids see you passing up the junk food, when your kids know that your car doesn't go through the drive-thru, then they start to live that. And essentially, that's how we teach our kids. We can preach at them and preach at them and preach at them. But if we're not living what we're preaching, they're not going to follow it either. So, what if you have a garden? Let the kids be a part of it. Yes, yes. If you've got a garden, if you have a chance to grow something with your kids, dude, that's amazing. Teach them where the food comes from. And a lot of times, little kids or big kids, kids that like grow something and they put their little heart into it, they'll want to eat it. Over the summer, my kid does not like tomatoes, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but I don't make her eat tomatoes, but her grandma got her eating these little baby tomatoes off her plant because grandma grew them, because it was fun to go pick them. So if you can grow something or make it, that's getting ahead. Hold on, we'll get to there. But being the example is huge to making sure that your kids eat healthy. And it's not just about vegetables. It's about other things too. So use eating healthy as a tool to educate your kiddos. This is especially good for big kids, but it's kind of fun for little kids. They kind of get the concept. The kids are a lot smarter than we give them credit for sometimes. So, but if you're using it as a tool to educate your kiddos, then you can take, like we were just getting ready to say, if you can grow something, you can talk about the life cycle of the plant. You can totally talk about what the vegetables do for your body. And here's on the flip side. Here's where we did a lot of work with our child, was we started talking about what some of the stuff did to her body that was not good. So just because we want her to eat vegetables, we also want her to know the basics of nutrition and why it's important to watch what she puts into her mouth. Now, I didn't try to scare her. I didn't try to tell her, oh, sugar is bad and you're gonna die if you eat sugar. But I did tell her, sugar's not good for your tummy. Sugar's not good for your brain. A lot of sugar can make your teeth rot. And we'll say, we never say that we don't do that. That's not true. There are a couple things. But for the most part, we don't really say, oh, you can't have, or you don't, you should never eat that. We really keep it in perspective of once in a while is okay, but if we want to be healthy, then we need to eat more of vegetables, protein, whatever. And she knows that. If you know my daughter, you probably have heard her say some things before and been like, whoa. Any server that's ever had us at their table will see that my daughter orders water on her own accord. There are days where we're like, you can have a juice, you can have a pop, it's okay, special occasion. And she's like, no, I just want water. And that's something that we've worked to get to. So keep in mind that no kid is going to change overnight. Just like you're not going to change overnight, your kids aren't going to change overnight. And it's going to take consistency. And the most stubborn kids are going to really, really test you. So you have to remember why you're trying to make them eat better. But truthfully, if you don't need the junk food, your kids don't need the junk food. I hear a lot of parents say, oh, well, I ate this and my kid ate chicken nuggets and fries or hot dogs and fries. And for me, when I made the change, it wasn't just for me, it was for my family. So we made a total family change. Like, it wasn't just me doing something and then Athena got to eat her corn dog and french fries. No. If I was eating chicken and broccoli, the family's eating chicken and broccoli. Mostly because I'm kind of the type of person that's like, I ain't cooking 2 meals, okay? You eat what I put on the table, or you can go find your own snacks. And if you're my kid, you eat what I put on the table. But it was important for me for her to eat healthy too. So it wasn't just about a change for me. Don't make this just a change for you. Make it a whole family change. Be the example for them. And then be their parent. I know that seems like a simple concept and you're like, duh, I am their parent. But truthfully, the decisions we make aren't always going to make our kids happy. And sometimes they're tough choices. And I know that it's hard to go in and be like, okay, the Lucky Charms, they got to go. The Cheetos, they got to go. The juice boxes, they got to go. And the kids are going to be like, oh my God, you're so mean. You're trying to starve me. You don't want me to eat any of my favorites. Don't worry, they'll thank you in the long run, or if they don't, oh well. The truth is you're their parent and it's your job to make sure that they're healthy, happy, and secure. And part of that is nutrition and teaching them what to eat and how to eat. So for those of you just popping on, I just want to real quick recap what I talked about. I talked about making it fun for kids. Make eating healthy fun. It doesn't always have to be eat this or you're not getting anything else. That's not the way to go about it. But that's almost like an ends kind of thing. If nothing else is working, then step in and be the parent. But keep it positive as well. Let them get involved as much as you can. Make it fun. Use it as a learning tool. Let them know why you're making the changes, because kids are smarter than we give them credit for. Be the example. Kids live by our example and we lead by example. So you have to be the example. If you want them to eat healthier, you have to make the change and eat healthier too. And then being their parent, being the one that says, listen, I know what's best for you and I'm doing this because I love you. And with older kids, I know that's not always easy because they have a lot more freedom and a lot more choice in what they're eating. But you're still the parent and you still probably control the grocery bill and you still probably control their spending money. So you have to put your foot down somewhere, especially when it comes to today's society and where we've let our kids go. I mean, it's scary. So in some ways, you just have to step up and say, I can't let this go. I can't let this slide because it's easy, because my kid's happy, because they're going to throw a fit. I don't want to do this. Like that doesn't really work. Like you kind of have to step up and go, yeah, I got to do this. I got to do it for me, and I got to do it for them, and I've got to do it for their future. I would love to answer any question you guys have. Really, so this was my thing. If you're introducing vegetables to your kid, do it as soon as possible. Like we were mashing up vegetables for Athena when she was younger, but we really got out of that. What's so funny is I fed Athena like organic baby food. And I made my own and I breastfed her, and then she got to like a year and a half and I was like, oh, here's this Happy Meal, because it was easier for me and it was what she was eating. And I was like, well, she's got to eat, she's gonna starve, right? If I don't feed her, if I don't give her what she wants, she's gonna starve. Kids won't starve. They won't. They'll throw a fit, they might go to bed hungry. They're not gonna starve. They're gonna eat eventually. And do it slow. I mean, if your kids are on chicken nuggets and fries right now, and I keep saying that because that's what my kid was on. But if your kids are like mine, when we started with one spinach leaf. One. And she couldn't leave the table till she ate the one leaf. And then we went to 2. And then we went to the number of her age, which at the time was 3. And then 4. And now, the other day, my kid asked for salad for breakfast. I don't know. I guess she's my kid. But just knowing that there are small changes you can make. Don't go and totally give them vegetables and stuff that they're not used to and then expect them to be okay with it. They're going to revolt just like you would revolt. Because remember, kids don't get to control a lot except for a few things. And what they put in their mouth, actually down their throat, is one of the things they control. So if you go and do a whole 180 on them, they're gonna probably revolt, no matter how positive and fun you make it. They're gonna be like, screw you, lady, you took away everything. So make it fun. Find ways that you can sneak in vegetables is a great one too. Like butternut squash steamed up, pureed and mixed in with mac and cheese is a great one because they don't taste it. Find ways to sneak veggies in so they don't know. And then just really getting them familiar with it. Let them be a part of the shopping experience. Let them be a part of the cooking experience. Do what you can to involve them in all parts of every aspect of what they're getting to eat. You can't always let them choose because kids are kids. And I'm also not saying that you can never give your kids a treat, because that's not true either. We have pizza night at our house. We go out. If you've ever met us, we are real people. So we eat things like mac and cheese and fries when we go out to dinner. Like, that's what she orders. But we don't do it all the time, and that's where it's okay. So when your kid is living off one thing, it's a little different than once in a while. So let them know too that, you know, we will eat these things again. You know, you can have French fries again. Just tonight we're having potatoes. Find kid-friendly recipes to clean up what you're eating now. We still have burgers and fries at our house. We just have lettuce wrapped cheeseburgers, or we have home cut fries and home cooked fries, so just a potato cut up, or we do sweet potato fries at home. We do them baked in the oven. So there are healthy choices you can make in the kitchen too to make their favorite meals more healthy. Okay, I hope that helps you. Anybody got any questions? I see like 8-10 of you on here. I'm gonna kind of scroll back through, see if you got any questions. So if you do, drop them below. We talked about the garden and getting them involved. Nutrition is one of my favorite units to teach with kids. Yes, nutrition is really fun because when you teach them young, that's when they learn the habits. And habits taught at a young age are really important because they stick longer. It just sticks. They just don't ever really question it, so they just go with it. So the younger you can start your kids, the better. The younger you get them involved in what they're eating and why they're eating good and what's important for their body and how their body works, the better. Because like I said, kids are much smarter than we give them credit for. And a lot of times we do a lot of assumptions for kids that they're like, smarter than that, Mom. Come on. We know our kids are smarter than us. Hand them an iPhone. That'll prove that they're smarter than you. Guaranteed. So does anybody have any questions? Does anybody have any tips? Have you been able to get your kids to eat healthier? I know one mom mentioned on my page when I talked about doing this, she was like, I just let my kid go to the grocery store and pick out a vegetable. And he wanted green beans. And she was like, okay. And she even said, she was like, I was hesitant because I didn't think he was really going to eat them. And then when I asked him what he wanted for a snack, lo and behold, he asked for green beans and he ate them. And it's just as simple as letting him choose, you know? So that's awesome. If there's something good that your kids eat, accentuate it. Here's another tip. When you're making their plate, give them things that they like with things that are new or things that you're trying to get them to like. So when we would do spinach on Athena's plate, it was made sure to be with things that 2 or 3 things that she did eat. So it wasn't just like, okay, here's this plate of nothing that you eat and nothing that you recognize. It was just one small addition to her plate. And slowly that small addition got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then if you saw my share today from our lunch, she actually asked for 6 asparagus spears because she's going to be 6. So now her vegetables have gone up by her own choice. And she asked for seconds. She was picking them off our plates. Asparagus is not really one of my favorite vegetables. So I was like, okay. So I had to really check myself and not to really push my opinion of asparagus onto her. Like, oh, okay, you want to eat that? I guess. And let her kind of decide. Because that's the other thing. Sometimes we parents get into what we like, and so we just expect that what we like and don't like kind of rolls down on our kids. But if you have older kids, you know that they get their own personalities and they like and don't like whatever they choose in a way. There are things that my kid does not eat and I do not force her to eat. Greens, she pretty much eats vegetables like that, but she doesn't like onions. She doesn't like tomatoes. I think that's pretty much it. Recently she's got into avocado as long as it's made like guacamole, which works because that's just smashed up with a little bit of salt, pepper, and garlic. And I might throw some tomatoes and some cilantro in there if we have it. But other than that, it's just avocado. So, but she thinks something about it is different when it's guacamole and not avocado. So that works. There aren't many other things that we've really changed other than she doesn't eat cold cereal because it doesn't really have anything in it. So we've kind of taken that out. She eats oatmeal. We eat a lot of eggs for breakfast, eggs and toast, regular old breakfast. We make waffles and pancakes, but we make them with protein mix. So we eat a lot of normal things at our house. If you asked her what we eat on a typical basis, she would probably say normal things that you eat too. But we've just learned how to make them a little better, buy better ingredients, cook them in different ways, or take things out so that they're not so yeek for us. So those are my tips on helping you get your kid to eat better. Remember that you're their parent, so when you make a choice and want to make a change for them, stick with it. Don't let them whine and cry their way out of eating their vegetables, because overall it's important. Overall, their nutrition is most important because it leads to their health. And we want happy, healthy kids. Good luck, guys. No more tears at dinner.